Hey friends, welcome to today's workout. Today's workout is going to be a stretch and strength. We haven't done one for a long time and I thought it would be good for our bodies to maybe loosen up some tight muscles and just have a feel good morning. So if you'd like to join me, I'm going to actually start down on the mat. We can be in a comfortable position, so whether it's cross-legged or knees to the side like this, or maybe straight out if that's what feels good for you, or up like this even. All right, doesn't really matter as long as you are feeling good and comfortable and in a seated position. All right, so we'll put our hands, if you're like this, on our knees and pull up through our spine so we've got a nice steady back, and then we're going to come with our neck over to one side. We're just going to hold this stretch. We're going to lengthen through the side of our neck, still pulling up through our body and now to the other side. Ooh, a little crack. The neck is waking up, I guess. And first side. And second side. Perfect. Come back to center. And now we're going to drop our chin forward and lengthen through the back of our neck. Still not crunching through our neck, but we're bringing our chin down towards the ground. And now we'll look up to the sky, bring our eyes up. Again, not too far, not overextending, just lengthening through the front of our chest. Back down. And up. Perfect. Back to center. We'll start with some shoulder rolls. Rolling up, back, down, forward. And now reverse those shoulder rolls. Perfect. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Great. We are going to plant our feet onto the ground, and we're going to send our hands with our palms facing backwards, so our pinkies, or all of our fingers, are pointed away from our body. And now we'll take one foot, cross it over our other, like we're hanging out at the beach, watching our kids play over in the water, and we will push our knee towards the ground. While we do this, we're actually stretching out our glute, so you might feel it in your glute, you might feel it in your hamstring as well. And you want to push your chest towards the sky as well. You don't want to have a rounded back here. You want to have a nice open chest and just pushing that knee towards the ground. Continue on with those lovely deep breaths. Find some calm in your chaos. That's how I find some calm in my chaos anyway. Micro bend in the elbows so you're not pushing too hard on those guys. And now we'll plant that foot and take the other foot and cross over. Pushing that knee towards the ground, proud chest, deep breaths. I'm not sure if you can see from there, my toes are painted a multitude of colors. Thanks to my lovely stepdaughter who did some toe art on me. It was a number of weeks ago already. It's probably time to change that. Whatever. And release. Perfect. Now we're going to take one foot, stretch it forward, bring our other foot nice and close to us. Scooch a little around until you're in a comfortable spot and send your hands up high. Breathe in, and when you're at the top of your breath, slowly exhale as you stretch towards your foot. You might not reach your foot, that's cool. Reach wherever you land. The goal is just to have a nice lengthening stretch through your lower back body, through your hamstrings, through your calves. You might also feel this through your open hip over here. And now we'll come up. We're going to bring our leg that's bent, cross it over our straight leg, and then hug our knee close to our chest. And again, a straight, seated up straight position. And you're going to feel this deeper into your glutes. We'll uncross, put our knee directly in front of our chest, and you can either place your hands underneath your thigh or in front of your shin and just bring that leg up nice and tight towards your body. Might not reach your body, that's cool. It's not about how the shape looks, it's about how it feels. Keeping that proud chest again. If you don't feel much, you can extend your shoulders towards the ground. And release. Perfect. Now we're going to stretch that foot out long. Bring our other foot in nice and close. All right, so we're in the opposite leg position. You still don't have a micro bend in your knee. If you want to put a pillow underneath there or something, that works, just so that you're not overextending and putting pressure on your knee. Arms up high to the sky, and a deep breath in. And when you're at the top of your breath, a long stretch to reach towards your toes, shins, thigh, all the things. Maybe the inside of your foot, your ankle. Nice deep breath. Not only are these stretches so good for your physical body, they're so good for the soul. Nice, juicy, self-loving stretches. I love it. All right, now we'll sit back up. We're going to take our leg that's bent and cross it over and hug that knee close to our chest, keeping a proud chest. Oh, this side is way tighter. Perfect, and now we'll uncross and just hold it straight towards us. And remember, you can grab at your shins or behind your shins at your thigh and just bring that knee again nice and close to your chest. All right, stretching through your hamstring. You can always lift your leg a little bit as well. That'll increase your hamstring stretch. And 3, 2, 1, release. Perfect. Now we're going to put both feet together and we'll bring them into a diamond pose. So your ankles out to your knees and then back in, come into a diamond. And now we'll grab our toes. You could also grab the inner arches if that's what works for you. And then we're going to stretch through our back. So as we pull up and bring that chest towards the sky, you're going to notice your inner thighs feel a good but deep stretch. All right, and then you can pull your knees towards the ground. Maybe they touch the ground. Maybe they are up by your elbows, and that's okay too. Perfect. All right, now we're going to send those hands up to the sky again. And if you're able, we're going to just lower our full front body towards the ground. You might be able to get your hands on the ground. You might be able to get your elbows on the ground. You might be able to get your forehead on the ground or nothing on the ground. Whatever it is, all we're worried about is the feeling and not so much the shape. All right. Perfect. 3, 2, 1. Release. We're going to plant our hands on our yoga mat. Come side to side. All right, come into tabletop position. Bring those hips side to side, little sway. All right. Point those middle fingers straight forward, and they're underneath your shoulders. And then we're going to send our hips and our shoulders up to the sky, drop our belly towards the ground, and face forward. And I've just realized my door is open, which is kind of awkward for you, but that's okay. You don't mind, right? All right, and now on your next exhale, we're gonna round through the back like there's a string pulling our upper back up to the sky, drop our head, drop our hips, and then have a nice lengthening stretch through the back. And your next inhale, go back down. And you can rotate through these on your own schedule here for a few breaths. Perfect. All right, we'll come back to a neutral position. Put our toes together. Send our knees as wide as the yoga mat. And send those hips back for a juicy little child's pose. Get the shoulders nice and deep. Really sink into this pose nice and low as you're able. You can have your hands stacked pancake style or fist style if that's where your head wants to rest. And now we're going to come up and through onto our hands, put our toes backwards, and come into a little plank position here. All right, so while we're in plank position, we want to be thinking about trying to have a straight line from our shoulders through our hips all the way to our heels. You might have your feet nice and close together. You might have them wider in a kind of more of a steady pose. It's easier on your body to have them nice and wide, and it'll make you less likely to fall over if you're clumsy like that. If you're a little like me, you've got a soft bend in your elbows. And while we're doing a plank, if at any time you feel like it's too much for your body, add in a little knee tap, bring your knee towards the ground, touch the ground, and then come back in. You can also do a half plank. A half plank has your knees on the ground and your toes are either flat against the ground or up in the air, and then you've got a straight line from your shoulders through your hips down to the backs of your knees. Your core is still engaged, so you're holding up and in. You're still feeling like you're working your shoulders, working your chest, working your back, and your quads, because all of those things have to be engaged to have a nice, strong plank. All right, and we're gonna hold this just for 3 more breaths. Perfect. Come down to the side. We're gonna plant our elbow into the ground right underneath our shoulder. We're gonna take our feet, stack them on one on another. You can have a soft bend in your knee here, and then we're gonna plant our upper hand into the mat and using it to help us push up into a half plank. Side plank, sorry, wrong word. All right. Now from here, if you find yourself gassing out, shaking is great. Shaking means your body's working, all right? Your core is working, your quads are working, your shoulders are working. But if you find yourself falling over, then you can come to a half plank, like this, half side plank, and you can even have your toe touching the ground. All right? You can have your arm over your head if that's what works for you. And release, side number 2. So we're gonna come over, and again, you can have your knee on the ground, or if you're able, come up with me into full half plank, full side plank. Words are tough this morning, I tell ya. Keep your core engaged, pushing up through your core, through your hips. Your quads are engaged, your shoulder is working for sure. We are thankful for this time that we've carved out for ourselves to get a good juicy stretch in. A little bit of strength, of course. How could you do it without any strength? And 3, 2, 1, release. Perfect. We're gonna come onto our bellies, curl those toes under, and plant your hands, and then just push your body up into plank, but then walk your hands towards your feet. All right, when we're in a nice forward fold position, we're gonna come and grab our elbows, crossing over one hand to one elbow, back and forth, as so you go. Sending your hips up nice and high, and you can rock a little side to side, rock a little forward to back. Now we're going to plant those hands back again and walk them out, not to plank here, but to downward dog. So we're going to send our hips up high and back and just push one heel towards the ground and then the other. All right, pedaling it out or kneading like a cat. And now we'll take one foot forward, cross it over above our body, try and have it parallel to the front of our yoga mat if we're able, otherwise at any angle works. And then coming down into a pigeon pose. Oh, feels so good. You can again let your hands come into fist positions and rest your head. Pancake position and rest your head, or just let your head fall down to the ground gently. We don't need any goose eggs. And now we'll come back up into that downward dog. Pedaling it out just for a second here. Hips are high and back. Your belly is pulling towards your spine. And we're going to send our other foot forward, cross it over, as is comfortable for you, and come down into pigeon on side 2. Perfect. Now we'll send that foot backwards again, coming onto our bellies, putting our hands next to our ribs. And we're going to start with some baby cobras. So using our hands for stability, but not for strength. We're going to come up, bringing our chest up towards the wall probably, the cabinet perhaps. And on an out breath, we'll come back down. Rest at the bottom, and on an out breath, we'll go up. Holding for just a couple breaths. Trying to get that breath still in the belly. And then gently coming down. One more, we'll go up. Couple breaths here. And down. Perfect. Now we're going to bring our hands a little more forward, right underneath our shoulders perhaps. And our toes are curled under. And we're going to use our hands for strength this time, coming up into upper dog or cobra position. All right, so here you're going to feel a huge stretch through your front body. You can bring your thighs off the ground if you so desire. All right, you just want to make sure you have a soft bend in your elbows, just so that you're not putting too much pressure on that joint. You can have your thighs grazing the ground or off the ground, whatever works for you today. Perfect. All right, now toes together, knees as wide as the yoga mat. Send those hips back for a quick little child's pose. Perfect. Okay, roll the toes under once again. Downward dog, pedal it out. And this time we're going to take our left foot, bring it all the way forward in between our front hands, our only hands, and we'll come into a low lunge. You can have your back knee on the ground like this, or keep it off the ground like this. You want to be squeezing your inner thighs towards your center line. So your front leg is pulling towards the same line as your back leg, if you imagine a line halfway down your body. You can rock forward and back. And now we're going to take our hand and scoop it on the inside of our feet so that both hands are on the inside of our foot. All right, and now you can sink a little lower into this lunge. You might be able to come down on your elbows, like so. You might stay up like this, or you might open up to your leg with your chest. I don't know if you can still hear me if I'm pointed the other way, but you can open up towards your leg that is at the front. Coming back down. Perfect. We'll send that foot backwards. And just a quick downward dog to shake it out. And now we'll take our right foot, or if you were using your right foot, then your other foot. And we'll scoop that baby up in between our hands into a nice low lunge. Remember, you can let your back foot drop, your back knee drop, or keep it raised if that's where you're at. Shake it a little forward and back. Nice gentle shake, nothing crazy here. You want to have your knee stacked above your ankle here. And now if you're able, we'll take our outside hand, so the hand that's by the pinky toe of your foot, and bring it to the inside and get a little lower into that lunge. You're going to feel this even more through your inner thighs as they're pulling towards each other, possibly in your hips. You want to keep your hips square here too. So you're really thinking about pulling your back leg, that hip forward, pushing your front hip backward. And now we're going to take our inside hand and open up to the sky again, if you're able. If you're comfortable and good where you were at, then stay there. No concerns about that. Soft bend in your lower elbow, no extra pressure needed. Remember, you can drop that back knee if you need to. 3, 2, 1, release. Perfect. Okay, now we're going to send that foot back. Quick little downward dog, maybe send those hips side to side. Free and easy movement. All right, now we're going to bring our hands towards our feet again. Walk those hands backwards. Grab one elbow and the other elbow, sink low. Now bring your heels and toes all together, all nice and tight, zipped up. So you're zipped up right through your whole legs. And when you're ready, on a breath out, hinge at the hips to slowly come up. Perfect. All right, now we're going to come into mountain pose. So that just means feet on the ground, arms out to the side. It's also called Tadasana, and I always think it's like Tadasana. Anyways, you didn't need to know that. And now we're going to just do couple last little stretches here before we close. We're going to bring our hands up in a great big huge ball space up to the sky, and then cut a line straight down, sending the hips back. Make a huge ball all the way from the ground up to the sky, and cut a line down. One more huge ball up to the sky, cut a line down. And now we're going to cut a line up and make a huge ball down. Cut a line up, huge ball down. One more line up and huge ball down. Meet at the bottom here. Plant those hands if you're able. Little rock forth, back and forth, forward and back. All right, now we're going to roll up. So we're going to start with the hips and the back and just coming up nice and slow, zombie roll style here. Through your shoulders, your chin is the last thing to come up. Perfect. Thank you so much for joining me in today's practice. I hope you found some peace in it, some sanity for the soul, and I hope you have a great day today. Talk to you later.